It's a silent August morning in the Barents Sea. The water lies flat, metallic, almost without movement. On the horizon, faint silhouettes of warships drift in formation, their hulls cut slow lines through a gray surface that looks solid from a distance. The Russian Northern Fleet has gathered for its annual training exercise. Aboard each vessel, crews run final system checks, the air heavy with diesel and salt. Anchored among them rests a massive shape. This is the story of submarine K-141 Kursk. Her double hull glints in the low polar light, the red bow number half faded beneath frost. From the pier at Vidyayevo, supply trucks finish unloading. Deckhands coil hoses, secure hatches. A seagull passes over the conning tower, its shadow sliding across the rust-gray steel. Inside, compartments hum with reactor readiness tests. In the control room, officers review charts for the coming torpedo drills. Nothing unusual, no warning, just another exercise on a calm northern sea. But somewhere in the rows of machinery below, a fault waits unseen. And within 48 hours, this still surface will hold the wreck of an entire crew. August 12, 2000. Aboard the Kursk, the morning briefing concludes in the control room of the Northern Fleet's flagship submarine division. The day's exercise is logged under Summer Patrol 2000, Phase 2. At 7:30 hours, the vessel's final readiness signal is transmitted to Admiral Popov aboard the cruiser Pyotr Veliky. From the harbor at Vidyayevo, the 154-meter submarine eases away from the pier, her twin nuclear reactors shifting quietly to cruising output. Inside, 118 men move through the narrow corridors with the precision of routine. Engineers secure watertight doors. Weapons officers begin loading inert torpedoes into the forward tubes for training launch. The Kursk's commanding officer, Captain First Rank Gennady Lyachin, reviews the sequence once more against the printed drill schedule pinned to the chart table. In the sonar room, headsets crackle with cross-checks from accompanying surface ships. All parameters read nominal. At 9 o'clock, the submarine descends toward test depth, bow pointed east across the Barents Sea. The light fades through the periscope lens until only instrumentation remains. Inside the torpedo compartment, compressors hum as technicians perform routine pressure tests on practice weapons. For the crew, it is another expected day beneath the Arctic, quiet, mechanical, and precise. Above them, the sea holds steady, giving no hint of the fault already building in the forward rack. No sign that this morning's drill will become one of the darkest entries in naval record. At 11:27 a.m., instruments aboard surveillance ships detect a faint acoustic pulse to the southeast. It lasts less than 2 seconds, too small to register as an explosion. In the Kursk's forward compartment, a training torpedo has just been armed for simulation. Compressed air releases, valves open, pressure builds across a corroded oxidizer line. The hydrogen peroxide fuel reacts violently within its casing. A low-frequency vibration rolls through the deck plates. Then a blast wave. Compartments 1 through 3 ignite in an instant, rupturing bulkheads and wiring conduits. A second detonation follows 135 seconds later. This one is catastrophic. Stored warheads in the torpedo rack cook off together, creating a fireball hotter than steel can endure. The shock front travels the full length of the hull. Consoles go dark, alarms cut mid-tone, pipes shear from the bulkheads. Seawater floods through torn seams at thousands of liters per second. In the reactor room, automatic systems trigger a shutdown, dropping control rods within milliseconds. The emergency lights flicker once, then die. Above the surface, the escort ships hear the concussions but mistake them for live fire exercises still underway. No distress signal is sent. The Kursk's communication masts have been destroyed. On board, only 23 men survive the first minutes, trapped in the aft compartment beyond the reactor bulkhead. The rest are gone, lost to heat, pressure, and darkness. In less than 2 minutes, the largest submarine in the Northern Fleet ceases all response. Its coordinates fade from every radar and sonar return in the Barents Sea. At 11:30 a.m., surface ships in the Barents Sea resume their own maneuvers. From the deck of Pyotr Veliky, observers watch distant plumes of spray where missiles break the horizon. Nothing appears out of order. The Kursk's absence from the exercise channel is noted but not questioned. Communication blackouts are routine during submerged operations. By 1 p.m., the fleet's schedule moves into the recovery phase. Helicopters lift from carriers, circling the zone for telemetry. Calls are made across secure frequencies, no reply from K-141. Operators assume a systems test is still underway. At 3 p.m., control logs the submarine as delayed contact. The Barents remains calm, its surface unbroken except for the wakes of the escort ships. As hours pass, radio chatter thins. Crew aboard nearby vessels report hearing dull, rhythmic sounds through hull microphones, but dismiss them as mechanical interference. By 5 p.m., the command ship initiates a wideband sonar sweep. The returns show nothing but static and thermocline distortion. The water temperature holds near 2 degrees Celsius. The depth here exceeds 100 meters. Inside the fleet's operations room, an entry is made. No acknowledgement from Kursk since 11:29. Evening light fades to gray from the bridge of the Pyotr Veliky. The sea looks motionless, serene, endless. No smoke, no oil, no wreckage. Just silence stretching to the horizon. Below that silence, steel lies twisted and flooded, and 23 men still wait in the dark, tapping faintly against the hull for a rescue that has not yet begun. By midnight on August 12th, search orders are issued from the Northern Fleet headquarters at Severomorsk. Signals go out to patrol ships, aircraft, and rescue submersibles. The coordinates of the Kursk's last exercise zone are marked on a gridded map. Sector B4, depth unknown. At 200 hours, sonar operators aboard the frigate Admiral Chabanenko detect a faint metallic echo. The pattern is steady, low, repeating. Divers believe it to be manual tapping from inside the submarine's aft compartment. The sea state is 2 meters, visibility poor, water temperature near freezing. Rescue submersible AS-32 is launched, but its docking gear fails to lock onto the escape hatch. Bolts and seals are distorted from pressure. Through August 13th, attempts continue. Compressed air lines jam, umbilical cables snarl in currents. Divers work in 4-hour rotations at 100 meters, guided by floodlights that barely pierce the silt. By the evening briefing, oxygen calculations suggest only a few hours remain for those still alive. The Admiral requests international assistance. Approval moves slowly through command channels. On August 14th, Norwegian and British rescue teams stand ready at Bodo, awaiting clearance to enter Russian waters. Paperwork delays their departure another 30 hours. When they finally arrive on August 20th, the sea is flat again. Remote cameras show the submarine resting upright on the seabed. Bow crumpled, hull intact aft. Divers open the rescue hatch and find no air pressure behind it. The compartment is flooded, silent. For 9 days, the fleet had searched for sound. What they found was stillness, no sign of movement, no light, no survivors. The Kursk remained on the bottom, her name written in chalk on a command room board that would stay there for weeks after the rescue was called off. September 2000. The Kursk is raised from the seabed by a Dutch salvage team under contract with the Russian government. Steel cables, each thicker than a man's arm, are threaded beneath the hull and tensioned from a floating barge. At 4:30 hours, the submarine breaks the surface for the first time in 2 months. Its bow is gone, torn open. Compartments forward of frame 40 are missing entirely. Within the aft sections, investigators find what remains of the crew, still positioned near emergency lighting panels and air valves. A single note, written in pencil and wrapped in plastic, confirms that 23 men had survived the first explosion and waited for rescue in total darkness. In the following weeks, the hull is transported to Roslyakovo dry dock. Specialists from the Rubin Design Bureau inspect the wreck section by section. The cause is traced to the failure of a 65 to 76A torpedo during pre-launch checks. A leak in its hydrogen peroxide tank allowed the oxidizer to react with brass fittings, initiating a chain detonation. The report is delivered to Moscow on October 26th. Public release is limited. The language is technical. The conclusions brief. Policy changes follow quietly. The Navy removes all HTP-fueled torpedoes from service. Submarine rescue cooperation with NATO is formalized. Memorials are built at Severomorsk, St. Petersburg, and Vidyevo. Families receive folded flags and sealed documents listing times, not details. Today, at the harbor's edge, the names of all 118 crew are inscribed on a curved wall of black granite. Visitors stand before it in silence as wind rolls in from the sea. Beyond the breakwater, the Barents is calm again, gray, cold, and endless. Somewhere below that surface, faint echoes still return from metal resting on the seabed, and in each, a question remains: how did this happen?